Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Mock Sports Friends, the Quaddie Poddy, for a special Golden Slipper edition. We've got one hell of a card to unpack this week. Cash, you joined by Nick. How are you, mate?
Yeah, man, doing well. Good races this weekend. Can't wait. I won't be at the track. Are you getting down there, mate?
Yeah, I'll be getting down there, mate. Can't miss Slipper Day. It's part of the reason I retired from football, so I could get to Slipper Day.
Yeah, I get a trial this week, so it's I haven't been to a slipper day, have I? I don't think I have.
No, because we were
Every
meant to
time
go,
we,
and then football happened, and then Slipper footy got rained out, so we were going to go to the Slipper, and then the Slipper got rained out, and then the very next week, football, we were hoping we were going to get rained out again, but we played on a closed ground. The council didn't know, and so we had to traipse out to the Greystanes, and we missed Very Elegant versus Adib. I was very sad. I also had 5 touches that day. It wasn't a fun day for Cashy.
Yeah, so I won't be there, but I'll be watching closely. What time is the Golden Slipper?
Golden Slipper is set to jump at
4:30, 4:35.
4:35.
So my game is at 2:30. So I reckon
you'll be off the field
off
to
and I'll be
turn it sideways and get the phone out for the boys.
Well, lucky my coach is a bit of a horses fan, so I'll get him to get it up on the phone to watch at least, or if not, I'll just watch a replay. But yeah, good week of racing coming here. There's how many Group 1s this week?
6 Group 1s, 5 all at Rosehill. It's a big week for the tip-off. This is what's going to sort the men from the boys, and whoever gets down this weekend is going to have to wait until championships to really claw their way back in a few weeks' time. But before we get all into that, let's touch on last week. Boy, oh boy, it was an absolute strip out, mate.
Yeah, definitely.
Nothing went right for us, that's for sure.
No, it started bad on our stream on Dabble. We did win, didn't we?
Yeah, Tatsumaki, but that was a stream tip. Didn't tip it on the podcast, unfortunately, so we only left the day with 2 wins. Pride of Jenny for you, Lay Vampire for me in the final at Rosehill. Thank God, I thought we were going to go nude at Rosehill, and I was very mad because every horse looked great on paper and then just decided to run third to tease us.
Yeah, thoughts on Pride Jenny coming back and taking the win? I'm pretty happy. I thought at her best she's definitely just as good, and she's had a long rest, so she's got that time to go back, and she proved that she's there. I know she didn't have a great field against her. Zardozi's better at a longer distance for sure, but still she won
I think
a nice,
the
nice
ride
race.
won her that race. Well, no secrets there. The ride always wins Pride of Jenny her races, but I think it was the ride on other horses, aka Zardozi. What are you doing? That gave it no chance whatsoever. That was Queen Elizabeth-esque, the fact that not a single horse decided to chase it. What do you think was going to happen? Come on now. Like, Zardozi got put into the race after it was already done and closed fantastically. I reckon would have gone closer to beating her if she'd been put into the race a bit earlier. That's just me.
Fair enough. I just think Zardozi's just better at longer distance. So we'll wait and see, I guess.
Yeah, one other thing to touch on, another big mighty mare of the turf, Bella Nipotina, retires seemingly out of nowhere.
She's getting old. She's run a hell of a lot of races. What's she run, like 54 or something?
57 starts, 57? I think.
Yeah, she had a time. So she goes out on a high, which I think it's a bit hypocritical from you personally. You don't like horses going out on a high.
No, I'm not mad that she's retiring. I'm just I find it strange that they announced all these big plans for her, and then out of nowhere they're like, no, she's retiring. Okay. Something must have gone amiss. Something must have happened.
You've had your opinions where horses go a bit too long, and if they think that she's getting old enough, she's definitely old enough. I think fair enough to them. She goes out on a high with a Everest win, and then whatever she won. What it was last year.
Well, then won the Everest, won the champion. Well, not the champion sprint. The winner's sprint. That was, I can't remember the shit name they gave it, but and then, well, yeah, and then I believe finished. Did she place in the champion sprint in the end? I can't quite remember, but she definitely had.
I think she did
one hell of a prep to finish off her career. Yeah. And they announced, because they went autumn into winter into spring with her, they were going to skip the autumn and just let her go winter into spring for one final crack at the Everest. And then something must have gone wrong, or they've just decided she's had enough. Which, fair enough. I'm sad she's no longer going to be around. I'm not mad, but yeah, my mind was boggled when that news came out because they had been so clear of what they were going to do with her, and then just I turn on my phone randomly, and all of a sudden she's no longer racing.
Fair enough.
Well, honestly, before we get into anything really, when it comes to listener questions and hotline, usually we leave all weekend chat for that section of the show. We let the listeners and the hotline hit us with the questions, and then we get into the rundown. But I want to hit you with a question here, mate.
All right.
Okay. I want to hit you with your thoughts on J-Max Book of Rides this weekend. Okay. He's got 5 absolute winning chances in the slipper. Slipper in all the Group 1s. So I'm going to ask you a two-pronged question. Two-pronged question here, mate. I'll read you out his rides. Race 2 is on Hinged.
Yep.
Race 4 is on Autumn Glow. Race 5 Via Sistina. Race 6 Broadsiding. Race 7 Fangirl. Race 8 Woden. Race 9 Growing Empire. Race 10 Rose Bloom. All right. So those are 8 red hot chances. 5 of those being Group 1 chances. Obviously races 5 to 9. Via Sistina, Broadsiding, Fangirl, Woden, Growing Empire. Two-pronged question. Out of those 8, how many races does he win? And out of those 5 Group 1s, how many Group 1s does he win?
I think he goes close to winning a lot. I think Hinged might be a bit unlucky. Still the best horse in the race. It's hard. I'm going to go through it a little bit in a bit of time. Autumn Glow probably wins. Is that a Group 1, Munro?
No, listed.
Okay, so Via probably wins. Yeah. Broadsiding wins. Fangirl has a chance. I've just spoiled it. Well, yeah, good chances.
You're on a few of them.
I'm on a few of them, but there are a couple of value plays that I'm going to be playing in the midst of some of them.
Without revealing who you're on, let's just say the Group 1s. 5 Group 1s. He's got 5 red hot chances. How many Group 1s does he win? Just give me a number.
I think if he doesn't get at least 2, he'd be very disappointed.
He's had a bad day if he gets less than 2.
I think, with the horses that he's on.
I agree with you. I think the line I would be setting is at 3.5 because you've got Via Sistina, Broadsiding,
That's being conservative,
Fangirl.
I think, too, for me.
Those 3 are clear-cut favourites and deserve to be clear-cut favourites and will be very hard to beat in all of their races. So if he doesn't at least get up on, a Via Sistina and a Broadsiding or a Via Sistina and a Fangirl, he'll be going under a bit of pressure going into races 8 and 9 there. I'll take you all the way back to September 28, 1996, punters. It was a day that goes down in racing history because at Ascot of all places in England, a 7-race card, all of them quite good races as well. One Frankie Dettori rode the entire card. Okay? A young Frankie Dettori rose to fame because
What year?
1996. Okay, this is one of the reasons
I
Frankie
thought you said
Dettori...
something completely different just then.
What do you think?
I thought you said 1928. I want to go back and listen to that if I've stuffed up or you
September 28, 1996. Okay, this is one of the reasons Frankie Dettori got so famous because he made a lot of people a lot of money that day. He had 7 rides on a 7-race card.
Someone spoke about this.
Yeah, rode every single winner. Now, he's riding 8 out of the 10 on the weekend, J-Mac. And honestly, on paper, I wouldn't be surprised if we see something very, very similar. He has got the chances to be winning 6, potentially 7, potentially all 8 races if he puts those horses in the right spot. Obviously, it's a lot easier said than done, but I think get on your multiples, back J-Mac in every single ride in your doubles multis, your triples multis, your 4-fold multis. I think J-Mac could do something very, very special. He has the potential to, at least. That's all I'll say. I reckon you say no more than 2. It's a bad day. I reckon if he leaves Rosehill with no more than 3 Group 1s, he's had a bad day. I think 3 Group 1s should be his benchmark. And I think out of his 8 rides, he should be walking home with at least 4 wins.
Fair enough.
All right, let's get into the hotline, mate. We've got 2 for us. James P. to start us off.
G'day, boys. It's James, the mock from across the pond. Well, the Tasman, I guess. Reporting live from New Zealand. And while Australia hosts its lovely Golden Slipper Day, it's New Zealand Oaks Day at Trentham down in Wellington. And, well, it's as simple as you want a leg in your multi, like a Lucy, $1.50. Close to an M word, as I can say. Aussie Cares in it for a reason. Waller's going to train it after this for a reason. And the only other hot tip of the day in New Zealand, race 9, Trentham to Mystic Park, cricket fence form line, couple of injuries, but it's been nominated for the big international races in Hong Kong, and we don't send many up there. So if it's good enough, it's good enough. $5, $2 a place suits me nicely.
I like that bit of New Zealand tipping, but like Lucy, I actually have heard a bit about that horse is coming over the ditch soon enough. Waller is to take it over. And apparently, very, very good horse. I think a lot of people reckon it'll give our horses quite the run for their money when it comes over, especially in those Oaks-style races. So there, if you want a multi-filler, get on like a Lucy. And then our good old friend Stocks Bloodstock has our next one.
Woden.
G'day, boys. George from Stocks by Stock here. Skyhook's too good from last weekend. Like I said, I think he'll run a placing this weekend behind Woden. The best 2-year-old in Australia, Woden. I'm keen to see him on the weekend. I'll be out at Rosehill, hopefully watching him win the Golden Slipper. Cheers, boys. Have a great weekend.
Well, the $1.10 play lobs. He's tipped Woden in the slipper. And if you see me down at Rosehill, come say good day. I'd love to meet you. I love what you do, and I love the passion. But I don't know. We'll discuss Woden a bit later. Nick's confident that he can run a good race. I reckon he'll run a good race. Whether he wins or not remains to be seen. But we'll discuss it a bit now, runner by runner later. Mate, what are our listener questions looking like this week?
We get them up, mate. There is definitely a couple. Our first one. Why are they bothering sending the rest of the slipper field around when Tempted already wins, from David Windley?
Bold call. Okay, we've had 2 listeners with 2 tips. Fingers crossed for the both of you.
Is Kashi sad Bella Nipotina go, from Arrow NG?
As I said earlier, sad but not mad.
Favorite Queensland horses? Isotope from back in the day.
Yeah, you loved Isotope. Who was that from?
Ryan Maloney?
No, I mean, who asked the question?
Oh, Sears Racing. Sorry.
Oh, Sears Racing. A couple of trainers up there in Queensland. I'm a big, you loved Isotope.
I loved
Isotope. You
Isotope.
loved Isotope. I would say Crone, technically.
Crone.
But I would say currently I'm a big Midnight in Tokyo guy. I love that horse. Thought it was really good Sydney-wise, and when it went up to be a Queensland-only horse, I love backing it left, right, and centre whenever it runs.
Is Zach Lloyd in the top 2 best jockeys in the country, from Top Boy Jamie? No. Zach Lloyd is not top 2.
I would say you could argue he's top 3 best in form, best ability. Obviously, you need a lot more runs on the board to be arguing that. I think considering he's rode a few Group 1s in the last few weeks, you definitely have to have him up there in current form, but ability-wise, a lot more water needs to go under the bridge.
He's too inconsistent. He rides a shocker at least once a card.
Copped another suspension last week as well.
Did he? Steffi, every time he rides Steffi, he just rides Steffi wrong, and as you can see, Steffi's on a different jockey this week, so I don't know. I don't say top 2.
That's why
there's some good jockeys at the moment. J-Max, obviously, probably number 1. Got Shin up there. You've got an argument for Jamie Carr, really. You've got Damien Lane up there. You've got a lot up there.
Yeah. I think the only thing with him is that, again,
he will be the best.
Yeah. I can't ride a horse, so I'm never going to complain about his horse riding ability. It's just that in any sport, you can't be getting suspended that much, man. If you're sitting on the sidelines for half the games in a season, like a Toby Green, or sitting on the sidelines for half of the weekends in horse racing, like, you can never be claimed the best if you're only rocking up every 3 weeks because you're getting suspended. He loves to get the elbows out. He loves to get slapped with a careless riding suspension. That's the only thing, in my opinion, he really needs to iron out of his game to become one of the best.
100%. Following up on last week, got to ask for your thoughts on Vaughan's win.
Crazy. I thought Lindemann was home, and then Vaughan from the clouds. I was at Rosehill. He looked like he hadn't actually melted for his first couple rounds around the yard.
He's lived here now throughout the whole summer.
That's what I'm saying. So I tweeted out, all good so far with Vaughan, and everyone was like, you're a fucking idiot. You don't know what you're looking at. And I was like, yeah, I literally tweeted that after he'd gone around twice, because he then proceeded to get very sweaty and melt and, get a bit hot under the collar. But then class prevailed, and I think it was that extra bit of acclimatization taught him how to deal with that and just get the job done in the end anyways. And so I think he'll be very dangerous if that continues to be the case, because for him to have acted the way he did in the yard and still win, very good.
J-Mac says, Autumn Glow via Sustainer and She's bulletproof to place. Free multi, easy cash. Fair enough. We'll see how that one goes. That's all the listener questions for this week. Let's get straight into the rundown, mate. There's a lot to unpack today.
Lot to unpack and a lot of races, and you'll see that we'll be whipping through these 5 races that aren't in the tip-off, because the tip-off is going to be the majority of this pod, especially that runner-by-runner analysis, sorting the pretenders from contenders in the slipper. But let's go through the Rosehill rundown. Track is going to be hard, very hard, okay? It's been really, really hot for the last 2 weeks in Sydney. No rain's been around. No rain is predicted. So the track will be definitely a good 4, if not get to a good 3 later in the day. But I'm sure they probably would have irrigated it enough to keep it soft enough that it's going to stay good 4 all day. Rails out 3 meters. I think on paces will have a day out. I think you really need to be in that first 6 horses going around the bend to be effective on the day.
Got a bit of rain tomorrow coming, mate.
That's changed since I did my research. How much rain? Do you know the exact amount?
Got a 50% chance of rain tomorrow from about 11 to 8. So
0 to 7 millimeters. That could change things, but we should still be on a good 4. Shouldn't tip us into soft 5, but yeah, that'll probably rule out getting to a good 3. I still think, you're going to really need to be up on pace. Horses will be able to make ground, I think, but you'll certainly be in the right part of the track to win if you're in that first sort of 6 horses going around the bend, especially when it comes to the slipper. Race number 1, the 1500 meter benchmark 72, straight to the point. Why get off Rush Attack? 1 for us 2 starts back, and then should have won to go 2 on the trot. Just fell short by the slimmest of margins. Only negative here is losing Zach Lloyd, because he's jumped off and jumped on a different horse, but this horse should be right up on pace, be gritty late, hopefully grabs a win, $5, $2 to place.
I'm with you here, mate. It's pretty easy. Race number 2, 1900 meters, the Epona Stakes. Mayor of Mount Buller is the only real danger, I think, here with Zach Lloyd on board. Not only is J-Mac going to have a day out, I think Waller's going to have a day out today.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm going for his other horse, Hinged, best horse in the race.
You're back on the Hinge train now.
J-Mac on board. 59 kilos is probably the only worry. Should be better here. $5, better price to have. Hinged.
God, we are absolute suckers for pain. It's a knockout for me. I think, Hinge will be strong late. So will Mayor of Mount Buller. Little Buyer got the win last start, shockingly, but it was paddling late. I don't think the jump in distance is going to help it at all. But it's a knockout, is out of done deal. So it's never gone this distance, but 1900 meters probably shouldn't be a query for a done deal horse. If you don't know, Done Deal won the Queen Elizabeth Stakes and a few other staying middle day distance races. So, and probably should be ridden a bit more forward. It was meant to lead last start. For some reason, got ridden back at the top of the midfield with cover. Didn't pay off for it. I think they go back to its leading ways here. Clark should give it every chance at $5. It's a knockout for me. Race 3, 2400 meters, Group 3 Manion Cup. Now, mate, I want to get your thoughts on this one first, because it's a solid race, and it's got a few of our go-tos when it comes to the stayers races here. I'm interested to think who you're on. I've got to guess who you're on. Are you on Alal Kans? Are you sticking with him?
Yeah, I did get to watch this run, and I had a bit of money on him personally. Personally. She ran fantastically over the 2000 meters, led the whole way and won. Extra 400 is a bit of a worry, but $3.10 I can get with it here, but there is a couple that I would have a look at and don't mind. Birdman is definitely one that you need to keep up. Strathtay is a bit of a roughie that I think low weight can get it done, and then our Anchorage as well can't be left out. So those are the main chances, I think, but I'm sticking with the favorite here. Had a great run last start, should be better.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned Birdman, because that's who I settled with. I will mention that Cleveland is a bit of a spanner in the works here. Really classy horse. I would say the classiest, but it usually needs a bit longer than this. Also usually needs a few runs to really get going in the prep. Wouldn't shock me if it won, because I think class-wise it is the best. I'm surprised it's not top weight here. But yeah, be careful going on it. Not a load job by any means. But yeah, I settled on Birdman. Really, really strong through the line last start. Just was no match for Kings Valley. I I'll refrain. Strong through the line for the fact that it was giving the winner 6 kilos. Okay, it was plotting a bit late, but I think it was just that weight that kept it down. Was no match for that lightweight leader that took off there. So I think now that it drops back down to 53 kilos, Zach Lloyd goes on board. I think it should be a lot stronger through the line now. And with that jump in distance and, the less weight, I think it'd be very hard to beat. But yeah, Alec Hansen Birdman, I think, should be probably a Quinella. Won't pay a lot, but I think it should be that.
Fair enough. I'll take us to race 4, 1,200 meters. You got the Munro Stakes here. Autumn Glow, clear favorite and should win. However, I'm going to pick someone else just for a bit of a tip, and it's Pisces. $23 and $4.75 for the win, for a place, sorry. First up record's not too bad. It's had 3 starts. It's won once. It's come second another time and missed a placing in the others. Just can't see why this horse is at $23. I know it's against a good field, but $23 is over in my opinion, and it's just a good enough price where I'd go each way on it for sure. So Autumn Glow is the main play. If it gets over $2, I'll definitely be having it. It'll definitely be in a lot of multis, but Pisces is a play I will have for a bit of value.
Autumn Glow for me. If it's the same horse that we saw in the spring, you'd just have to think it pisses in, right? It was better than Lady Shenandoah, and we've seen what Lady Shenandoah can do. So surely Autumn Glow wins this. Take us to the 10th, mate, because 5 to 9 is tip-off.
Yeah, 10th, 1,200 meters birthday card stakes. So this one's pretty hard here. Not too sure what to go. I think Outback Miss is one to look at. Springley, again, is one that probably didn't bounce back well after the 1 week backup. But I'm going with She's an A-lister here. For giving its last start, $7, $2.15 for a place. It's just in the each way odds. Last run will forgive, but before that, ran pretty well behind Time to Boogie and then won the start before that. So should be good here again. Bjorn's absolutely fine with his training at the moment. So I'm going to go with She's an A-lister in the last.
Fair enough. I have to be with the favourite Outback Miss with that commemorative form. She closed off behind her really, really well last start, and I think that horse is a very good chance in a Group 1 Galaxy. So I think she just only needs to hold that ability and hold that form to be getting the chockies here at $2.90. So Outback Miss to finish off the card with a win. And yeah, that's a very quick Rosehill rundown because, like I said, it's all tip-off all the time with this podcast tonight. Scoreboard currently sits with you still currently on 23.6 points, me on 13.58 after neither of us did any good in the Coolmore last week. I was so close to getting $4 points back on you with a place with Alentia, but unfortunately she fell fourth. But we'll quickly go through Moonee Valley Race 9, the William Reid Stakes. We've backed the last 3 winners in this, I'm pretty sure. No prizes for the last 2 years being Imperatriz, but then the year before that, on the night of Buddy 1000 of all things, you backed September Run. So let's see if we can get 4 on the bounce here. And it's the only really race to touch on Moonee Valley. So let's get it out of the way nice and quick.
Yeah, it's a tough one here. Jimmy Star's your favourite at $3. Absolutely made us look like fools when we said we weren't sure it could get it done at the distance when it won pretty convincingly. So I'm not too sure here, punters. This is a real tough race. I think She's Bulletproof is one that you can't miss out on either. So I think I'm going to stick with I'm going to go with She's Bulletproof. $5.50 for the win, $1.80 for a place just outside those each way odds. Was the next best thing in front of Jimmy Star last start. I'm pretty happy to go here. It's been very consistent throughout its career. It's hasn't missed a Quinella in its last 6 runs, maybe even more. I'm very happy with it here.
Great one, think a lot. That's where I've settled as well. Craig Williams, you would have thought he'd be all over coming to Sydney for a day like this, but he's stayed in Melbourne. Is this one of the reasons? I'm not so sure. But I mean, the fact that he's here, he'll really wanting to be throwing the kitchen sink here to make sure that this one Group 1 of the day is worth it instead of riding in 5 in Sydney. So yeah, $5.50 win, $1.80 is a price I can entertain here. And like you said, rarely ever finishes out of the finish. So I'll be with her as well. As we move back over to Rosehill, let's go through them all now. We'll leave the slipper for last because, like I said, we're sorting the pretenders from the contenders runner by runner like we like to do. So let's just go for the Ranvit, the Guineas, the George Ryder, and then the Galaxy. We'll leave the slipper to last. Let's start off with one that probably should be pretty straight to the point, the 2,000-metre Ranvit Stakes, Via Sistina versus the World.
Via wins for a tip-off tip. I'm going with Lindemann, $9.50, $2.88 for a place. Yeah, looks pretty nice. Ran pretty well last start. 1 week back up. Damien Lane, great jockey. I think it's the next best thing behind Via.
Look, Via Stina wins. She goes on top. She wins. Okay, she bounced onto the scene this time last year in this race. A year ago, I got told by Chris Waller's co-trainer that this will be the best horse to run on Rosehill, not named Winx. And I mean, so far, she's putting up the numbers. Like, that could be a true statement. I'll be very shocked if she goes under here. Winx odds, and deserves to be. Full count Felicia is going to be my tip-off tip just to get that $3.70 place points. We will be paying out points to third, even though the bookies won't pay you out. And I think because full count Felicia, first up, import Waller loves to announce horses in this way. You've also got another import first up in the form of Al Mabir, Markland Haggis combination. Always respect them, but this is no Dubai Honour, but respect it for sure. I'll be playing a couple of trifectas here. Via Sistina, full count Felicia, Al Mabir. And then I'm also going to play another one, and I might even combine both of them into a first four. Via Sistina, full count Felicia. The reason I'm on full count Felicia as well is apparently she's a Pride of Jenny type leader, so they'll probably send her out hard to really set up a nice slipstream for Via Sistina to come home hard, and she'll probably fall into the placings because she's so far out in front. I'm going to go Faulkner Park as well. Really good first up behind Via Sistina. Only finished 1.6 lengths off her in Very Elegant there. So, yeah, I think he'll charge home into the money. So, yeah, I think your first four across the lines are Via Sistina, full count Felicia, Faulkner Park, and Al Mabir. And then I'll probably play those two trifectas to try and find some money out of this race since there's a $1.40 favourite.
Yeah, fair enough. I think Zarakum at the 71, 18, 25 will get into the exotics, in my opinion. It's just at a better distance. Forgotten about price.
Not a terrible shout, honestly.
It's not a terrible shout. But for the no third dividend, I don't think it'll be worth having a place bet at the 18.25. Maybe it is for $5 if you wish. It's got a good distance record: 4 starts, 2 wins from the distance, 1 second place. Racing over obviously in France and England, so
exotic paradise. This race,
they're pretty good at making stays. Pardon me. So who knows? But yeah, we'll move to race 6.
Sorry, just quickly, I've just checked. Same race multi for that to finish top 4 and Via Sistina to win gets you $10 odds. Take it or leave it, punters. But yeah, take us to the next one.
Do we want to talk about it?
The Rosehill Guineas? Yeah.
Broadsiding?
Broadsiding versus the world. Are you just broadsiding tip off as well, broadsiding?
Broadsiding doesn't get under, if it gets under $2, which I assume it will. Sorry, mate. Alina,
you reckon?
Yeah. Broadsiding wins. If it gets... Actually, you know what? I'm just going to go broadsiding in the tip-off because it's only $1.50 or $1.80, so I'd get more points for a win for broadsiding.
Fair enough. I've gone Swift Falcon. And I'm not saying broadsiding loses, but I do think that Swift Falcon's the only horse in this field that can beat it, like I thought it was potentially the only horse that could beat it in the Randwick Guineas, and G linebacker made me look silly for jumping off him. But Swift Falcon gets better with the further he goes. He's been closing off really well in every start. You know, was only 0.8 lengths off the finish behind broadsiding again last start. I think, yeah, it's broadsiding or Swift Falcon, in my opinion, and I'm glad to be wrong if anything else plays spoilers. I think I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if this is shades of the Pericles and Lindemann Rosehill Guineas a couple of years ago when they were both neck and neck down the line, and it was literally which jockey wanted to push it more in the final 100 metres. One of the better races I've been live to see. I remember being right on the winner's post with my cousin, and he was jumping up and down thinking Pericles was going to win. I was jumping up and down because I was on Lindemann, and just when Nash got his fucking head down, or maybe I think Abdullah was actually on him that day, whoever was on him, but just got his head down on the line, and I was pumped. I think we could see shades of that on the weekend.
Fair enough. We'll move to the George Ryder, 1,500 metre. Great race.
Very
Probably
good.
race of the day, I think.
I agree.
Joel Wolf, Tom Kitten, Royal Patronage, who won out of nowhere. Buckaroo, probably needs a bit longer. Gringotts, Militarized at that price is insane. Can definitely have some value play there. Are they doing any? I don't know. Some bookies sometimes have the top 10 markets, which might be there. I'm not too sure.
They wouldn't have a top 10 market for an 11-horse field. I reckon the most
at
they'll go is
least-
a top 6.
Yeah, but what I meant is they might have top more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair.
Celestial Legends, Kovalika. Geez, that horse has run for a while, hasn't it? I feel like that horse, I've been calling that for years. Port Lockery, Fangirl, and Steffi. So, great field. Honestly, I think anyone out of Chol Wolf, Tom Kitten, Royal Patronage, Gringotts, Fangirl, and Steffi can win. Steffi gets a jockey change, $9.50, $2.40. Definitely one to look at. Zach Lloyd's butchered her in the last pretty much 2 runs she's had. She should have won a Golden Eagle, which is some form you can look at if you want.
I mean, protested it that they were that confident that it should have won.
Well, it was his fault in the end. So, yeah, Tom Kitten for me, $6.50.
The Kitten.
Beaten broadsiding is good enough for me. The only problem is probably better. I liked it, really liked it at 1,600. So 1,500 should be all right. But Tom Kitten, $6.50 for me.
Am I deaf, or did you just say it beat broadsiding instead of bright side?
We're doing this to each other tonight. I said bright side. Maybe I did say broadsiding.
Fair enough. Look, I haven't been able to get on my girl since she's been going against Sustina, but it's a chance to get back on it just as J-Mac has done. So Fangirl, she should have already won this race a couple of years ago, but she ran into the horse named Animo. So she should be going for her second George Rider, but she'll have to settle for her first. I think, yeah, Wolf, probably biggest danger. Maybe a Royal Patronage, because all of a sudden it can go good at these distances now. How the fuck did it win first up over 1,300? I'll never know. Again, Militarized, $71. Celestial Legend, $81. Are you crazy, bookmakers? You've got bigger balls than me. Finally, they're giving us big prices for these horses, but duly so, considering who's at the top of the market. But yeah, I just think Fangirl, J-Mac knows this horse like the back of his hand. Lobs up, 2 pairs, 3 pairs max back unless she misses the start, and then just, peels her out, presses the button, gets the job done. No prizes for finding her, but yeah, I'm back on my bullshit with Fangirl. She was once my favourite horse. She could be again after this weekend.
Race 9, Galaxy, 1,100 metres. Another great race. Probably second best race of the day.
I agree, yeah.
I'll take us through. Marzu, Uncommon James, who have won respected in they've won their own races respectively. I Am Me, Lady Laguna, Jetta Growing Empire, Dragonstone, Front Page, Ostraka, Estriella, Briasa, Eagle's Nest, Private Harry, who I tipped before the season to win a Group 1, so this could be its chance. Commemorative and Time to Boogie. Great field, great race. This is probably the best sprint race we've had since this, the Everest, I'd say. The best sprint race.
Big call.
What do you think?
I don't know. I would have said probably the Champions.
No, I think this is closer.
Fair enough. I won't argue it.
I think this is closer. Growing Empire for me, $8.50. Gets an absolute peach of a ride from J-Mac. Goes probably a bit better around the bend as it hasn't been running too well in the straight. So I think it's just going to be better. Price is good. $8.50. Runs pretty well. Can get it done.
I mean, they clearly want him to win here because Zara's in town. So they've kicked Zara off for J-Mac for a reason.
Yeah, I'm just confident that Growing Empire is a great horse. I've been on it a lot of times. Just doesn't get the straight like other horses do. It's going to get the bend. Loves the bend, I reckon.
Fair enough. And to be fair though, for what a way it started off its career, looking like an unbeatable monster, it's gone on to not win many races. It's running very close, but just hasn't been able to find his way in front since, let's just actually look at it now. When was the last time he won?
He hasn't run well since when Craig Williams butchered him on the Friday night in Moonee Valley.
Yeah, the Manicato. He hasn't won since,
Southport Tycoon.
Hasn't won since
he should have won
start because he was, fifth start. He went 4 from 5 to start off the career, went win to start off that spring prep, looked unbeatable, looked like he was going to steal the Manicato, and then
placed in
controversy. And then place since. Apart from his couple of runs that have been quite plain down the straight. But yeah, I agree. I reckon he's more of a bend horse than anything. Look, I'm going to feel so silly if I Am Me wins here without me for the first time in what would be 3 years. That's not called the Everest because just about every other start I've been on her. But I will say Private Harry, shout out Corinda boys. They'll be down there on the weekend. I might try and catch up and finally shout them that beer that we owe them from the Magic Millions. But commemorative, 51 kilos. What?
God, we were broke during that time.
Oh, yes, we were. My God, that'll be a story to tell one day on the pod. Just the things we did that weekend to get by and to, the money.
What we ate. What we ate.
What we ate. Let's just tell us.
We'll tell it now.
Tell them.
We were so broke. This was only like last year. We were pretty broke, and it was probably like our first work trip where we had to contribute some of our own to it.
Yeah. Shout out to Stridle for getting us there in the first place. We do appreciate shouting the flights up there.
We do.
They got us there. We worked for them. It was really, really good. So shout out to them, stridle.com for all your racehorse purchasing needs. But yeah,
our other ones like down in Melbourne have been kind of helped out for us. Plus your old man's helped us out with some accommodation and stuff where it hasn't been too expensive. But having a week up in Gold Coast during Magic Millions is not cheap for accommodation. And we did have to spend a little bit, and we just come through New Year and Christmas, and we were both pretty low. And then put it this way, we were cooking eggs in the hotel microwave and eating scrambled eggs with chili sauce on them. That's what I was eating.
Yeah, it was literally
that was
microwave
the meals.
Scrambled eggs on toast or just on a plate, chili sauce, and then maybe some like Hungry Jack's or KFC or Guzman for dinner. And then we'd try and find a free lunch at the Magic Millions yard. We went to the canteen at the Magic Millions twice, and then we just kept going around the different marquees, trying to find the free samples because it's all we could afford.
Yeah, we were pretty bad that day, and the Corinda boys took us out for a night, and they pretty much paid for our drinks all night because we had no money. I think we used the last like $200 left in the work account that night for drinks.
And then we used the last $200 in our own accounts to back Boston Rocks, and it lost.
Oh my God.
But shout out the Corinda boys.
Shout out to the Corinda boys.
But commemorative.
Buy him a beer for me.
Yeah,
please.
I will. 51. I'm going to give him a kiss. Give him a big sloppy kiss, especially if Private Harry wins. Commemorative 51 kilos. Zach Lloyd on board. Gets his chance to win yet another Group 1 here. Geez, feathers for a really good horse. If gets the breaks, finds a clear lane to the line, I think can definitely get the chockies here. Was real classy last start. Obviously, this is a big jump up in class, but I think can win here. So commemorative. We finally get to the slipper, mate. Let's finally get to the slipper. So for those of you who have never seen a slipper preview before, with all these big sort of races, slipper, Cox Plate, Melbourne Cup, we go through runner by runner. We tell you exactly who we think can win, who can't win, and why. And we're going to do that for all 18 in the field here for the slipper. I'll quickly round off a couple of facts here. So these are some golden slipper facts and stats that you need to know, punters, before making your pick. 11 of the last 15 winners have come through the Todman or the Riesling Stakes. 14 of the last 15 have finished in the top 2 in their final lead-up run. Only 5 field favourites have won since 2008. 18 of the last 20 winners have won going down the fence. That's a massive factor to think about. And most of those were also on the fence before the turn. Okay, so going around that bend, they were already there. None of this weaving through and getting to the fence and then winning. Fireburn even counts in that because she did a lot of weaving, but she started on the fence at the turn. That's how incredible it was that Fireburn got through to win that race. And then makes no mistake that Barrier 1 is historically the most successful barrier with 10 winners in history. Considering that trend, you shouldn't be surprised. You know, it's the shortest way home, and it's been the most successful way home. Grab the fence and go, go, go. Speed map, you've got Mahuna, Skyhook, and North England likely to be the leaders with Belazane, Baywalk, and Far-Sighted. Also horses that love to lead, but they're drawn out wide, so whether or not they spend all their petrol getting to the front or just sit one pair back remains to be seen. Then you've got the likes of Woden, Devil Knight, Tempted, King of Pop, Within the Law, and Alabama Magic probably going to be those next few at the head of the midfield, chasing pack. And then you've got the rest of them who will be giving the rest of the field a bit of a start. We'll start off here with number 1, Rivellino. Huey Bowman comes back from Hong Kong to ride this horse. Lee's trains, barrier 3, $11 to win, $3.20 to place. Nick, what are your thoughts?
Contender, I think. This is going to be a tough one with a lot of these 2-year-olds because they've shown promise, a lot of them, and obviously these are a lot of the best. There are some that have missed out that I reckon should be here that we spoke about. But this horse is unbeaten, won well at the distance. The only thing that I'm just interested to see, it's been off the pace for most of its wins. Where's it going to settle out of the third barrier? So I think the third barrier definitely brings it in. $11, $3.20 is definitely a contender though. Inside barrier helps.
It does help, but you're right. Potentially gets shuffled back a bit, considering it's not going to be really trying to push to the front. Has to be one of the winning chances. I've got him as contender. Bowman wouldn't be flying in specifically to ride him if he wasn't a winning chance. 3 from 3 for a reason. He's beaten quite a few of the strong contenders here, such as Skyhook and Within the Law. Certainly has the runs on the board. Yeah, you said it perfectly. Barrier 3 for a horse that has off-pace and backmarker tendencies can potentially be very dangerous, but has overcome sticky barriers before like it did in the English Millennium, so it's in this race for sure. Number 2, Devil Knight. Mickey D rides, Hawks trains, barrier 11, $12 to win, $3.40 to place. Thoughts?
It's going to be tough because a lot of these horses, any of them can win because it's 2-year-olds and you never know, right? But I'm going to go Pretender if I have to give one. Outside barrier takes him out of it. I think just too hard from where he is. He's a leader. He's going to use too much petrol to get to the front. Like you said, you want to be on that fence. It's going to be too hard. Everything against it. Pretender.
Yeah, I agree with you in the sense that like this is, we've said this so many times, but all of these 2-year-olds have been so hard to split for a bad reason. None of them are really superstars jumping off the page. So honestly, any of these horses can win, and I'll be like, you know what, fair enough, credit to you. But I've had to label Devil Knight as a pretender as well, because not often do you see Blue Diamond slip a double. Last one was in 2011. Don't think we'll be seeing it again here. Solid placing chance, but just, again, from that barrier, can't see him getting his nose in front. It's going to have to do plenty of work to get over that favourite spot. And obviously this is much tougher than a Blue Diamond, which is why you don't often see them do the double. However, I must say, the form around him stacked up brilliantly. All those horses that he beat in the Blue Diamond went on to run spectacularly and find themselves in this race as well. And second in the Blue Diamond last year, won the race with Lady of Camelot. So if that makes you think that I'm an idiot, especially since I've also got a few of those horses that he has beaten as contenders, don't let me stop you from backing him, but I just can't have him personally. Number 3, North England. Timmy Clark rides for Gay Waterhouse and Adrian Bott out of barrier 8, $21 to win, $4.75 to place.
Contender. I think this is my better roughie chance. I think definitely a horse that before its last run, I thought was a decent chance. Looked good, won second up last night, had a bit of a rest, and it's come back first up and should be good again here. I think we can't forget how good Gay Waterhouse is at training 2-year-olds.
He's won 8 in the last 25 years.
Yeah, we just can't counter out of it. So contender in my eyes, North England. I think it's probably her best chance. I think it's better than Bella Zane. So, yeah.
Yep, I think Bella Zane is a better chance, but still,
fair enough.
Overs, plain and simple.
I reckon North England's a better chance than Bella Zane.
But I agree with you. So overs, $21, disrespectful. And I'll say that about the price for Bella Zane as well, considering who trains it, considering he hasn't really done that much wrong apart from fade because he just wasn't fit enough, but that was purely a fitness run to get him peaking here. And the Todman historically is the form race to be coming out of, so they picked the right race to put him in. He'll be in the right spot come the turn. It'll be up to him to see if he can dig in and get Gay yet another winner. Number 4, Tycoon Star. Mark Zara rides, Hayes Boys train it. Barrier 5, $19 to win, $4.30 to place.
It's going to be a good 3-year-old, I think. This horse is looks like it'll mature well. It's been there and thereabouts pretty much every run. I think it's just going to be a bit later in its career. So, yeah, I'm going to go Pretender in this one, but watch this horse in the next coming years.
Fair enough. 5 runs in, so he'll be the fittest, but perhaps has he already peaked? Think he might sneak in the top 5 or so maybe at best. I think that's probably his ceiling. A win would probably honestly be one of the few in the field that would surprise me a bit more. No one would have me on the floor going, how is that possible? But this one would probably have me going, it's a little surprising, little left field. So Pretender for me. Number 5, West of Swindon. Tyler Schiller rides for the Hawks boys. Barrier 4, $34 to win, $7 to place.
Pretender. I think this horse, I'm surprised it got in, to be honest. These are the kind of horses I personally wouldn't really want to see in, and would rather have a United States or someone else in,
or a comedy.
It is what it is, I guess. But I'm going to go Pretender. I just think there's better chances.
Well, the reason he is here is because of those second placings in the Golden Gift and the Silver Slipper. So his prize money gets him in, and obviously the eligibility of those races, you run well in them, you get your points up. But because he missed last start because of a late scratching, he's now 4 weeks between runs. He's only going to be second up. He's an exotic chance, but I think fitness will give out late. He's one to watch probably for the size of the champagne later on in the carnival, since he'll be ready to peak then. Number 6, Baywalked. Hippo rides for the Cummings camp. Barrier 16, $46 to win, $9.25. Pretender or contender?
Pretender. I think won its race already. That was the one for it to win. It's got everything against it, and then draws an even worse barrier. Even with an inside barrier, I don't think it would have won. So $46, $9. Call that Pretender, I think.
Pretender for me. I was all over it until the Todman, and then the draw was 3 wide the trip and tied pretty quickly. And fair enough, it was pretty wide, and it revealed it needs a cushy draw to be competitive. And what does he get? One of the widest barriers. So can't see him winning when he will just be just as wide going around the bend in this one as he was last start. Potentially, wouldn't surprise me if he's in it first 4 maybe. But yeah, barrier killed it for me, in my opinion. Number 7, Skyhook. McAvoy rides for Ryan and Alexio. Barrier $8.50 to win, $2.75 to place.
Contender won really well. Was it last week?
Yes.
Yep. Won very, very well. If not my second chance in this race. So Contender.
Yeah.
Looks awesome, I think.
Didn't have this horse on my radar whatsoever. Didn't give it a chance in hope. Much like Shinzo in when it won. Okay, came out of the same race, the Pago. Didn't have Shinzo on my radar whatsoever. Can't remember if I had Shinzo as a Pretender or contender, but I definitely was surprised when he won. But I won't be surprised if this horse wins, because boy, oh boy, he just looked fantastic. So yeah, you can't possibly rule him out. He's got the perfect barrier as well, which allows him to be at the top of that chasing pack. Big chance here. So we move to number 8, the horse that everyone's talking about, Woden. J-Mac will ride for Chris Waller out of barrier 2, $5 to win, $2 to place, equal favourite in the market at the moment.
Contender. I'm surprised that in the last 2 runs it's gotten it out to this price, to be honest. It's not even at the favourite at this point. Probably gets crunched into the favourite. I get on the price now, punters, if you're going to back it. It's probably the best 2-year-old, best looking 2-year-old, and honestly I like it better because it hasn't won every start. I find 2-year-olds, when they're suited up, you've looked at Coolangatta, who just looked unstoppable. Storm Boy looked unstoppable.
A cylinder.
Come to the slipper, can't get it done. That's the way it looks. That's the way it goes. So it makes me a bit more confident in a way to say this horse hasn't won its last 2 starts. I reckon it's a good chance here. I think Waller, grand final trainer, as we talk about very, very often, cannot rule it out. Woden contender for sure.
I'm not silly. He is a contender. He's been the boom favourite all Slipper season long. But boy, oh boy, has he been playing to not win his last couple. But I will say, Waller has been very open about the fact that he has not been training him to win the lead-up races. The lead-ups were just going to be a bonus, all right? He has been training him purely for grand final day. He's been training him to win the Slipper all prep long, and Waller is the best in the country on grand final day. So we definitely could see a very, very classy win here. And with his barrier, it's likely that the win would come very similar to the last Coolmore horse for Waller that we saw win this race. Shinzo down the fence very late. Remember, 18 of the last 20 have all come down the fence. I think with Woden, he's either going to win or fall flat on his face. No in between. He's either going to win or he's going to be completely out of the finish.
Fair enough.
Can't see him running a close second or third. He's either winning or maybe coming 6 or 7.
Okay.
Number 9, King of Pop. Lloyd rides Ryan Alexio, barrier 18, $34, $7.50 to place.
Yeah, Pretender. What won the Riesling, was it?
Black Opal in Canberra.
Black Opal. Oh, even worse form to go off. $41, Pretender.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Only one horse in history has done the Black Opal and Slipper Double, and that was over 25 years ago. Drawn terribly as well. This is definitely one in the field where I'd be like, that's real left field for it to win. So Number 10, Quietly Arrogant. Berry rides for the Snowden Camp, barrier 7. $27 to win, $5.75 to place.
Pretender. Just think there's better chances in this race. Only probably gets in because it's had 4 runs. It's had a bit more prize money. So, no, thank you.
He's my cutoff for Pretenders. There's always one in all of these previews that I like to say he's the one that scares me the most for leaving him out, as the Snowdens know how to win slippers, as does Tommy Berry. And this horse has done very few things wrong in his career, but I have a few horses ahead of him in the rankings, and if he wins, makes me look silly, I'll gladly put my hand up and say I was wrong. Watch for him late. I think, more of an exotics than a winning chance, so I have to say he's a Pretender. 11, Farsighted, par, Waterhouse, barrier 17, $51, $10 place.
Pretender. I think this is not good. Obviously, that Black Opal form's not where we're at, so no, thank you.
I feel strange giving the Waterhouse horse Pretender, but if this horse can't win a Black Opal, you ain't winning this. Number 12, Within the Law, Jason Collett, Bjorn Baker, barrier 13, $12 to win, $3.50.
Contender. Bjorn's absolutely flying. Great horse at the moment. Definite chance. Contender.
Yeah, Bjorn, how can you not have him a chance with this filly? Really done absolutely zero wrong in the short career. Winning form lines, ready to peak here. Collett had about 5 options in this race as well and chose Within the Law purposefully. Will be strongest horse late, just needs a clear lane to the line to figure in the finish. Big contender. As we move to the other equal favourite in the market, Tempted. Blake Shin will ride for James Cummings, barrier 1. $5 to win, $2 to place. It's lovely to see the 2 favourites draw 1 and 2 here, so they'll get every chance in the world to get it done. Contender or Pretender, mate?
Contender. Leading chance for the girls. Should be good.
I've got it as a Contender as well here. Equal favourite. I think she probably has a better chance than Woden. That's my hot call for the race. She was phenomenal last start, absolutely oozing class as she was able to nab the win in the Riesling, and I don't think any of them, bar one, could turn the tables on her. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge for later. She draws the inside, which is a positive as long as she doesn't get shuffled too far back, and if she finds a lane to the line, she's honestly one of the top chances, if not the top chance in the field. I reckon she's a top 3 chance.
I find it very interesting that with these two, Woden and Tempted, right, you've got J-Mac and Shin, who are debatably the top jockeys in Australia at the moment. You've got Waller and Cummings, who are debatably the best trainers in the country. And then you've got Woden and Tempted, who are the best 2-year-olds in the country. So it's a big race for those two. Who will come out on top?
I like the storyline. That's what we need more of in racing. These sort of storylines is what could get a lot more people into racing, but we won't have that argument now. Number 14, Bella Zane. Regan Bayless rides for Waterhouse Camp. Barrier 15, $26 to win, $6 to place.
Don't love the setup for this. How long between runs now? 3 weeks?
Bella Zane last start came on the 1st. So, this will be 3 weeks.
Yeah, 3 weeks. Just don't think it's suited as well. I think North England was the better chance in my eye. So I'm going to go Pretender.
Well, I've got it as a Contender, and I've got it as one of my leading chances. I think she's one of the few horses I could actually see overcoming a wide barrier. Best chance for Waterhouse, in my opinion, over North England. Best roughie in the race as well, in my opinion. She has a horror draw, yes. But like I said, I think as long as she can get to the front of that pack and nab some cover without spending too much petrol, she'll be in the right part of the track come the end, right in the thick of things, and could potentially just get her nose in front, almost like a Lady of Camelot last year. Okay? Didn't do it pretty, but knuckled down and got the job done, and I reckon we could potentially see that again here for Gay Waterhouse with Bella Zane. Number 15, Military Tycoon, Stockdale to ride for the Mayor Camp, barrier 12, $26 to win, $5.75 to place.
Pretender. Just think it's too many better options. Yeah.
First go, 1200, big no-no. Second up, big no-no. Never gone around the bend, another big no-no. Another one that I think is a very solid horse, better suited to other races. I'll be more surprised if this wins compared to a few others. Number 16, Mahuna. Damien Lane rides for the Freedman Camp, barrier 6, $9 to win, $2.75 to place.
Contender, does well here, suits up really nicely, falling behind. Tempted, genuine contender, suits up, third up, should be peaking. Good chance.
Yeah, I've got it as a Contender, if not my leading Contender. Snuck into the field by a whisker, and I'm really glad because I'm very confident she can run a race here. Was so brave in the Riesling, only to just get nabbed by a really classy effort from Tempted that I mentioned earlier. Tempted really knuckled down and was able to get the job done, whereas Mahuna's fitness just gave out a little bit, being second up there. Now gets to be third up, now gets to be a little bit fitter in the run. Damien Lane also gets to ride. That's a big tick. I think she could potentially turn the tables here on Tempted. Fitter, smarter, jockey upgrade, will be in the right part of the track. She's going to be right up on that speed. I'm convinced that's going to be absolutely crucial in the race. Like I said, first 6 around that Bender's who I'm looking for in this slipper. Major Manal vibes with the same trainer, same silks. She ran well in the last year's slipper. I think this horse can do one better for Friedman Camp and get the win for them. I think Mahuna might potentially be my top chance here, mate. As we move into the emergencies, number 17, Alabama Magic, knocked to ride for Kavanaugh. A staggering price of 200 to 1. Thoughts?
Yeah, won't get a run. If it does, it'll come last.
I've got one word written here. No. All right. Oh, fuck. No, it's going to get a run. It's going to win now after Knight's Choice, isn't it? Number 18, Nepotism. No jockey even listed here for the Hawks. I think that spells it out. Barrier 10, $67 to win, $11.75 to place.
Yeah, won't get a run.
I think if it got a run, you could potentially make a case to have a place play on it, but no more than that. I don't think it gets a start anyways. So that brings us to the end. We've gone through, we've said who can win and why, who can't win and why. So who's winning, Nick?
I'm going Woden. I think $5.50 is a price to have, and I'm getting on it now. Yeah, I go back and listen to what I said. It's pretty much word for word what I think. You've seen in the past that the horses that look like the best horse all throughout their 2-year-old prep and then come to the slip, I never win. This horse has been the best, in my opinion. Hasn't won 2 of the races. Should win this one. Be peaking. Does well. Best jockey in the world on board. Best trainer in the world on board. Best 2-year-old. Woden for me.
Like I said, it's going to either win or it's going to fall on its face. Fall on its face. I think I'm maybe siding that it's going to be out of the finish, but I'm very, very glad to be made to look silly because, like we said, good storyline. Was able to get up here. Best trainer, best jockey, best horse. Be nice to see. Mahuna for me. You just heard me speak about it a couple minutes ago. I just think she's got a bit of ticker in her. I reckon, as the old Benny Scarf says, be gritty. I reckon she gets to the front, goes around the bend, either in front or maybe second or third in the running, and just gets gritty and just digs and digs and digs and gets her nose in front at $9.50 for the Friedman Camp. Mahuna for me in the green and white. And if I had a top 4, Mahuna, Tempted, that's right, I'm going for a Riesling Quinella. North England to run 3rd, and then Belazane to run 4th. Even though I think Belazane does have a better chance than North England, I wouldn't be surprised because I can't go for a filly trifecta. There's got to be one boy that, sticks his cock in there, basically, and gets his nose over the line in front of a filly trifecta. But if you had a top 4, who would it be?
Woden, Skyhook, North England, and Rivellino.
Fair enough. For exotics punters, if that's what you want. All right, mate. That finally brings us to go through the quaddie. All right. Last week, again, no good for us. Let's try and bounce back and get a winner here. We'll save Rosehill for last. I'll quickly go through the valley and you can go through Rosehill, mate. Race 8, we've got Quintessa, Molly Bloom, Grinzinger Bell, another Profit, 1, 4, 5, 13. Race 9, Jimmy Star, Schwartz, Benedetta, she's Bulletproof, 1, 4, 5, 7. Race 10, Erno's Cube, Clean Energy, Scalato, Chewing Gum, 1, 7, 8, 13. Race 11, Hedged, Extra 2, the Instructor, Moby Dick, 3, 6, 7, 12. $50 gets you 19.5%, as is the standard. What have we got at Rosehill, mate?
Race 7, Fangirl, Chell Wolf, Steffi Mag, and Tom Kitten. That's 1, 2, 10, 11. Race 8, you got Woden, Skyhook, Tempted, and Mahuna. That's 7, 8, 13, 16. Race 9, you've got Commemorative, Growing Empire, Private Harry, and I Am Me. That's 3, 6, 13, 14. Race 10, you got Outback Miss, Rose Bloom, She's an A-lister, and Springley. 4, 5, 7, 8. $50 gets you 19.5%. As always, that's it. Best bet around the country, mate. Who you got?
It's going to have to be my girl, Fangirl. Like I said, I'm back on my bullshit. I'm back on the Fangirl train. Wins here. I think we can safely say she's back in the top 5 in the country, and I don't think anyone will argue that on me. $3, Fangirl in the George Ryder. Get it done for me, girl.
Broadsiding for me. Yeah, if it's too short and you want me to go something different, I'll go Alicante. $3.10 if that gets too short. But if it stays at the $2 mark, broadsiding will be my best of the day.
Fair enough. All right, punters, that is the end of what has been an absolutely stacked episode. We'll be back next week. Hopefully, good luck on Slipper Day. I'll be down at Rosehill. Come say good day if you see me. Wish Nick luck in footy. Let's hope he gets more than 5 touches than I usually get, but Nick's better than footy at me, so he'll at least get 6. But yeah, gamble responsibly, set a deposit limit when doing so, and yeah, have a crack.
See you guys.